When my mother-in-law's blessing and your betrayal worshipped my best friend's womb at the hospital while you left me all alone, you forgot one crucial detail. A single phone call to my father was enough to crumble your throne and turn your dignity to ashes. You will be forced to your knees in shame the moment this divorce petition ends your rotten charade forever. Before the story begins, let me know in the comments which city or state you're watching from. I'd love to know. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to help this channel grow. The morning sunlight piercing through the gap in the curtains brought no warmth to Sophia. Instead, the light seemed to strip away the shadows, exposing the deep sorrow that tightened her chest. In the 7th month of her pregnancy, every flutter of the baby in her womb should have been a source of shared joy. But for Sophia, that tiny heartbeat was her only companion amidst the cold, distant treatment from her husband, Michael. Sophia winced as she tried to sit up in bed. Her lower back felt like it was anchored by lead weights, a physical toll of the life she was carrying. In the corner of their spacious master bedroom, Michael was busy adjusting his tie in front of the full-length mirror. He looked sharp in his navy blue slim-fit dress shirt, but his eyes reflected in the glass held no space for his wife. "Honey," Sophia called out softly. Her voice was raspy from fatigue and morning nausea. Michael didn't turn around. He merely cleared his throat, his fingers nimbly knotting his tie with stiff precision. "What? Don't tell me you need me to do something again. I'm going to be late." Sophia took a deep breath, trying to suppress the sting creeping up her throat. "Today is my checkup with Dr. Evans. I'm in my 3rd trimester, Michael. The doctor said it's important to check the baby's position. Could you please drop me off?" Michael's hands paused, but only so he could let out a harsh sigh. He turned to face Sophia with the look of a boss dealing with a massively incompetent employee. "Sophia, we've talked about this. There's a massive board meeting at the firm today. Your dad is personally overseeing it. You know how important this project is for my career, right? Don't be selfish just because of a routine checkup you can easily do yourself." "I'm not being selfish, Michael, but I'm 7 months along and I've been getting dizzy spells out of nowhere. I'm just scared something might happen on the road," Sophia replied, her voice trembling. She hoped he would notice the exhaustion etched into her face, or at least touch her pregnant belly for support. But that hope vanished when the bedroom door swung open without a knock. Eleanor, Sophia's mother-in-law, who lived with them, marched in wearing an expensive silk robe. Her face, always heavily powdered, wore a mocking sneer. She glared at Sophia as if her daughter-in-law were a pest standing in the way of her son's success. "Oh, for heaven's sake, Sophia. It's too early for this dramatic whining," Eleanor said sharply, shattering the quiet of the room. "When I was pregnant with Michael, I worked double shifts and walked blocks in the snow to get groceries. We didn't have this entitlement where the husband drops everything to be a chauffeur. You're just going to the clinic. Call an Uber. You'll survive. Why do you have to sabotage your husband's career?" Sophia looked down, gripping the bedsheets. "It's not about the ride, Eleanor. It's about support. Support is in prayers, not in the passenger seat of a car," Eleanor cut in viciously. She walked over to Michael and proudly patted his shoulder. "My Michael is working hard for you and your future child. You should be grateful you have a provider. Look at your friend Brooke. Now she's an independent woman, a successful boutique owner. She drives herself everywhere without a single complaint. Why can't you learn a little from her, so you stop being such a burden?" Hearing Brooke's name made Sophia's heart ache. Brooke was her best friend from college, her confidant, but lately she had been distant. And hearing her mother-in-law compare her to another woman right in front of her husband felt like a knife twisting into a fresh wound. Michael grabbed his leather briefcase from the dresser, seemingly empowered by his mother's words. "Mom is right. You're too high maintenance, Sophia. I don't care, I'm not driving you. Figure it out yourself." Without a gentle goodbye or a kiss on the forehead, Michael walked out of the room. Eleanor followed closely behind, still muttering insults about how weak modern women are. Sophia sat frozen on the edge of the bed. Tears streamed down her face, wetting her maternity nightgown. Her dizziness was replaced by a suffocating tightness in her chest. She felt like a foreigner in her own home. The place that should have been her safest sanctuary had become a prison of judgment. She slowly got up, dragging her feet to the kitchen for a glass of water. There she found Martha, their housekeeper of 2 years, setting the table. Martha immediately rushed over when she saw Sophia's swollen eyes. "Mrs. Sophia, are you okay?" Sophia shook her head, holding onto the edge of the kitchen island. "I'm fine, Martha. Just a little dizzy." "You need to eat, ma'am. Mrs. Eleanor forbade me from making your special prenatal breakfast. She said, whatever is on the table is what she eats, so she stops acting spoiled. but I secretly saved your organic pregnancy smoothies and made you an omelet. It's hidden in the microwave." Martha looked at Sophia with deep pity, a silent witness to the daily emotional abuse Sophia endured from her husband and mother-in-law. Sophia smiled bitterly. "Thank you, Martha. Thank you for caring." The truth hit Sophia hard. In this house, a hired employee showed her more compassion than the people she called family. She thought of her father, Mr. Richard Sterling. If her father only knew how his only daughter was being treated like garbage, a massive hurricane would hit Michael's career. But all this time, she had covered up Michael's shortcomings in front of her father. She wanted to protect her husband's pride. But this morning, something broke inside Sophia. The emotional trauma accumulating over the months had finally reached its boiling point. She caressed her belly. The little life inside seemed to feel its mother's sorrow. Sophia couldn't keep going like this. If she couldn't rely on Michael, she had to rely on herself, but in a different way. Sophia returned to the bedroom. Ignoring her dizziness, she started getting ready. She put on her best maternity dress and applied a little makeup to her pale face to look refreshed. She wasn't going to the hospital looking like a victim. Holding her designer bag, Sophia opened a drawer. Inside was an old business card her father had given her, the direct contact of his executive fixer who handled corporate emergencies. Sophia pulled out her phone. Her fingers trembled before she typed a short message. She didn't call her dad directly to complain. It wasn't the right time yet, but she made a small move she had always avoided out of fear of bruising Michael's ego. She booked a premium black car medical transport service to pick her up. It was a luxurious service, and the invoice would go directly to Michael's corporate email as part of the family health benefits of a director, a position Michael only had because of her father's influence. When she walked out to the living room, Eleanor was sitting on the sofa, sipping her morning tea. She looked her up and down. "Where do you think you're going, looking like that?" Sophia didn't stop. She kept walking toward the door with her head held high. "To the hospital. Alone. Just like you and Michael wanted." "Good to see you've finally come to your senses," Eleanor sneered sarcastically. Sophia opened the front door. A sleek black luxury SUV was waiting. It wasn't an ordinary Uber. She climbed inside without looking back. In the cool leather interior of the vehicle, Sophia gripped her phone tightly. She decided she wasn't just going to get her pregnancy checked today. She was going to confirm a creeping suspicion that had been haunting the corners of her heart. One thing was certain starting this exact moment. Sophia was done being the obedient wife just to protect the feelings of people who never cared for her. As she sat in the back of the SUV quietly navigating the city streets, Sophia felt a strange anxiety in her chest. It wasn't just the paralyzing sadness anymore, but a sharp, hyper-aware nervousness. Using Michael's corporate perks was a small declaration that she still had fangs, even if right now she felt like a bird with a broken wing. She looked out the window, watching the high-rises blur, by trying to distract herself from the mild pelvic cramps brought on by tension. Upon arriving at the upscale medical center, the driver respectfully opened her door. Sophia stepped out, feeling the cool draft from the lobby doors, but her footsteps suddenly halted right at the entrance. Her eyes locked onto a white sedan that was all too familiar, parked not far from the valet stand. The license plate, the dashboard ornament, even the small scratch on the bumper she had accidentally caused last year. It was Michael's car. Sophia's heart rate spiked. Her chest felt like it was going to explode. Didn't Michael say he had a massive board meeting with her dad? Didn't he yell at her this morning because she was being an inconvenience? Her mind raced. Was Michael sick? Did an emergency happen? A tiny sliver of hope crossed her mind. Maybe Michael felt guilty and decided to follow her. Sophia quickened her pace, ignoring the heaviness in her lower back. She entered the crowded lobby, her eyes frantically searching for her husband. But what she found moments later didn't just shatter her hope. It crushed her entire existence as a wife. In the corridor leading to the OB/GYN wing, Sophia saw them. Michael was there, but he wasn't alone. On his right, Eleanor was walking with a beaming, joyous face, a genuine smile Sophia had never seen directed at her. And on Michael's left, wearing a flowing pastel maternity dress, was Brooke, her best friend, the woman she confided in. The person who had texted her a prayer for a safe delivery just last night. The world seemed to stop for Sophia. She hid behind a large pillar near the pharmacy, her whole body trembling. From 20 feet away, she had a clear view of the soul-crushing scene. Michael had his arm wrapped protectively around Brooke's waist, as if terrified she might trip. Every now and then, Michael whispered something into Brooke's ear, making her giggle and lean her head against his shoulder. It was a display of affection Sophia hadn't felt in months. "Slow down, baby. Watch your step." Sophia heard Michael's voice. It was soft and full of concern. The exact same tone he used when he asked her father for her hand in marriage. Eleanor chimed in, rubbing Brooke's back. Yes, Brooke, honey. You need to take care of your health and my grandbaby. This is the grandchild I've been waiting for. Don't exhaust yourself like Sophia, who does nothing but complain. Sophia clamped a hand over her mouth to muffle a sob. Tears streamed down her cheeks. The pain wasn't just about betrayal. It was betrayal by the very people she considered family. How did her husband, her mother-in-law, and her best friend conspire to stab her in the back while she was carrying the child of that same man? The dizziness returned much stronger this time, forcing her to lean against the cold, marble wall. Amidst her disorientation, a deep voice called out to her. Sophia, are you all right? Sophia turned pale, and with swollen eyes. Standing before her was Dr. Evans, her OBGYN, and a close friend of her father, looking deeply concerned. Dr. Evans. Sophia tried to speak but failed. Doctor. Evans immediately supported her, guiding her to sit on a nearby bench. You're incredibly pale, Sophia, and you're hyperventilating. This isn't good for the baby. What happened? Where's Michael? I could have sworn I saw him earlier. Sophia just looked down, tears dripping onto her designer bag. She couldn't speak. Seeing her reaction, Dr. Evans instantly understood something was terribly wrong. He glanced down the hallway where Michael, Eleanor, and Brooke had vanished. Come on, let's go to my private office. We're not talking in the public clinic, Dr. Evans said, with authority, yet full of care. He signaled a nurse to bring a wheelchair. Sophia just let herself be wheeled away. Inside the soundproof office, Dr. Evans handed her a glass of warm water. Drink this. Calm yourself down. You're pregnant, Sophia. This level of stress could be extremely dangerous for the baby. I'm speaking not just as your doctor right now, but as your father's friend. What exactly happened? They were there, Doc. Michael, his mom, and Brooke. They brought Brooke for her prenatal checkup, they said. They said that's the grandchild they've been waiting for. Dr. Evans sighed heavily, his jaw clenching. As a doctor, he knew Brooke was also his patient, but he was bound by HIPAA laws and medical ethics. However, seeing Sophia's crushed state triggered his paternal instincts. You need to be strong, Sophia. If you can't fight for yourself, fight for the life in your womb. Do not let their betrayal kill your hope, Dr. Evans said firmly. Sophia looked up. The words, "do not let them kill your hope," echoed in her mind. The paralyzing sadness slowly morphed into a cold, sharp determination. She wiped her tears, leaving a trace of a newly ignited rage. I want a full, detailed examination today, Dr. Evans. I need all my medical records, and if possible, I need your help to confirm something without breaking the law, Sophia whispered, her voice steadying. After an exhausting examination, Sophia didn't go home immediately. She stood in a dark corner of the parking garage, watching the exit door from the clinic. Her mind was working much faster than her pain. She took out her phone and opened the camera. She slowly approached the parking lot, hiding behind a large van. She knew they would be coming out soon. Sure enough, Michael emerged with his arm around Brooke. Beside them, Eleanor held a printed ultrasound strip with a triumphant smile. Sophia hit the record button. She captured every moment of their intimacy, Michael kissing Brooke's forehead before opening the car door for her and Eleanor, giving Brooke a warm hug. That video was ironclad proof of an unforgivable betrayal. Once the white sedan drove off, Sophia stopped crying. She called her driver again. Inside the SUV, she was no longer in a daze. Staring out the window, she scrolled through her contacts and tapped a name. Attorney Miller, I need your help. Clear your schedule for tonight. We need to talk legal strategy, Sophia said coldly, the moment the call connected. She hung up. She opened her photo gallery and stared at her phone's wallpaper, a photo from her wedding day. Without hesitation, she changed it to a pitch-black screen. She knew going home meant returning to a den of wolves, but she wasn't going in unprepared. She backed up the video to a hidden cloud folder, a small step to ensure Michael, who thought he was the smartest guy in the room, wouldn't find it. The cold, antiseptic-smelling hospital floor felt like it was creeping into Sophia's skin, freezing her blood. Behind a large pillar, she slowly slid down to sit, but the physical pain was nothing compared to the weight on her chest. She hugged her belly, trying to protect her baby from the toxic conversation happening just yards away. Don't move too much, Brooke. Remember what the doctor said. This pregnancy is very precious. Eleanor's voice was crisp, dripping with a protectiveness Sophia had never received. Sophia squeezed her eyes shut. I'm fine, Eleanor. Michael is taking great care of me. I just get a little morning sickness, Brooke replied. Of course I'll take care of you, Michael said, his voice full of assurance, devoid of any guilt. Just focus on your health and our baby. I'll handle things at the house so Sophia doesn't stress you out. And then came the words that hammered the final nail into the coffin of Sophia's trust. "Thank God," Eleanor muttered. "Honestly, I'm just so happy. You truly are the ideal daughter-in-law, Brooke. Beautiful, independent, and most importantly, you bring honor to this family by carrying Michael's child. Not like the other one, barely pregnant and already full of drama and a complete burden. I can't wait until you two are official." Sophia clamped her mouth shut to keep her sobs from escaping. Ideal daughter-in-law. Those words looped in her head. So she wasn't just being cheated on, she was actively being replaced. Her mother-in-law didn't just hate her, she was pulling out a chair at their dining table for another woman. The hallway lights felt blindingly bright. Sophia felt the air leaving her lungs. The image of Michael holding Brooke and Eleanor's victorious smile was the last thing she saw before her vision faded to black. "Sophia, Sophia." The voice was distant, but the hand shaking her shoulder was real. Sophia blinked and made out Dr. Evans' deeply concerned face. He had found her slumped on the floor behind the pillar. "Doc," Sophia whispered weakly. Dr. Evans and a nurse immediately helped her into a wheelchair and rushed her back to his office. He checked her blood pressure. "Your BP is dangerously low, and your heart rate is through the roof." "You're in shock?" the doctor said. "What did you see out there?" They called her the ideal daughter-in-law, Doc. "They're celebrating her pregnancy. My own best friend." Dr. Evans sighed. Being close to the Sterling family, he felt a moral responsibility. "Listen to me, Sophia. Your emotional state is critical right now. If you stay like this, you're putting your baby's life at risk. If you go back to that house unprotected, I am terrified you might miscarry from the stress." Sophia looked at the doctor. The despair in her eyes shifted into a bitter realization. "Then I can't afford to be weak anymore, Doc." "Not only can you not be weak, you need to start distancing yourself from the source of this stress," Dr. Evans emphasized. "I will note in your medical file that you require absolute bed rest. I'll send the copy to your private email, not the family one," Michael monitors. "You need medical documentation, proving your health is deteriorating because of your environment." Sophia nodded. She started gathering her strength. Information was a weapon, and right now, she held the secrets Michael and Eleanor thought were safe. After getting a vitamin IV, Sophia asked to rest in the doctor's private waiting room. She checked her phone. 3 missed calls from Michael, probably making sure she wasn't still at the same hospital. She didn't answer. Instead, she opened her banking app and checked her personal savings, an emergency fund her father gave her that she had never told Michael about. She booked a luxury short-term rental apartment far from their house, but close to her father's corporate headquarters. She rented it under her real name but used a burner contact number. She knew it was dangerous. But staying in that house with the ideal daughter-in-law in the making and her venomous mother-in-law was a bigger threat to her baby's life. Sophia stood up. Though still weak, she smoothed out her dress. She looked at her reflection in the mirror. Her face seemed to have aged years in a single day, but a line of resolve was forming on her lips. She dialed their housekeeper. "Martha," Sophia said quietly. "Pack a small duffel bag with my clothes and essential documents. Hide it in the trunk of my car while Eleanor is taking her afternoon nap. Do not let anyone see you." She ended the call. She walked out of Dr. Evans's office, bypassing the hallway where her heart was broken. She had one more place to be before the sun set. She was going to make sure this betrayal was paid back in full. Sophia's footsteps felt incredibly heavy as she stepped into her home. What used to feel warm now felt like the gates to a conspiracy den. The smell of fresh lilacs from the garden made her nauseous. The image of Michael embracing Brooke played on a relentless loop in her mind. The door opened before she could even touch the knob. It was Michael loosening his tie. He had intentionally made himself look exhausted. All the tenderness he had shown Brooke at the clinic was gone. "You just got home?" Michael asked dismissively. "I'm exhausted. That meeting was brutal. Your dad is so demanding." Sophia stood at the door, her back to him. She closed her eyes. "Meeting. My dad." She wanted to slap the truth right across his face. But she remembered Dr. Evans' advice, "Stay calm for the baby." "Is that so, honey? You do look tired," Sophia replied, forcing her voice not to tremble. "Yeah, at the office." "Draining," Michael answered curtly. Before Sophia could respond, Eleanor emerged from the kitchen, her face as sour as ever. Well, well, the queen has arrived. Bravo. Coming home at this hour. Do you even know what a house is? What do you even do as a wife? Parading around the hospital in a fancy corporate car while your husband works himself to the bone. I just came from my checkup, Eleanor. My blood pressure dropped at the clinic, Sophia said quietly. Excuses. Women back in the day swept the floors even when they were dizzy. Go dust the guest room before you rest. Stop acting like a diva. Michael didn't even defend her. Just listen to Mom, Sophia. I'm hungry anyway, and she said you didn't prep any dinner. I just got home, Michael, and I'm sick. It's all in your head, Eleanor snapped. Clean the guest room now. Until you're done, don't expect a seat at the dinner table. Sophia looked at Michael, hoping he'd remember she was carrying his child. But Michael just pulled out his phone and smiled, probably a text from Brooke. As Sophia walked toward the kitchen, a hand pulled her into the dark laundry room. It was Martha holding a covered plate and a glass of honey water. "Ma'am, please eat this," Martha whispered. "Mrs. Eleanor forbade me from cooking for you, but I couldn't bear it. I secretly made you a grilled cheese and tomato soup, your comfort food. Eat a little so you have strength." Sophia stared at the plate, tears welling up. In this massive house, only a housekeeper treated her like a human being. She took a bite, her hands shaking. Swallowing felt like swallowing glass. "Thank you, Martha," she whispered. "You're welcome, ma'am. The bag you asked for is in the trunk of your car." I snuck it out while Mrs. Eleanor was on the phone in the garden. Sophia nodded. Her mind was made up. As she ate, she heard Michael and Eleanor laughing in the living room. Her heart turned to ice. She remembered Dr. Evans' advice. She would no longer be a victim. After eating, Sophia went into the guest room and locked the door. She ignored the dust. She sat on the floor and pulled out her burner phone. She verified that the hospital video was safely in the cloud. Then she scrolled to Liam's name. Liam was a colleague of Michael's, a guy who used to have a crush on her but remained a loyal friend. She knew Liam had access to the financial reports of Michael's division. She typed a quick text, "Liam, can we talk privately? I need your help verifying some of Michael's corporate travel expenses from last month. Please keep this completely confidential, even from my dad." She hit send. She knew this was the start of a massive avalanche. But when she heard Eleanor yelling from outside, her fear evaporated. She stood up and yanked the door open. "What is taking you so long? Did you fall asleep in there?" Eleanor screamed. Sophia stared her mother-in-law dead in the eye, something she had never done before. "No, Eleanor. I'm just making sure everything is cleaned out down to the roots. Because very soon this house is going to be scrubbed clean of all its pests." Sophia walked past Eleanor, who stood dumbfounded. She went into her bedroom and pulled out a document, the deed to the property her father had given her as a wedding gift, which in her foolishness, she had allowed Michael's name to be added to. She needed to get it back before the sun rose tomorrow. Sophia's phone screen lit up, shattering the darkness of the bedroom. After her icy confrontation with Eleanor, she hadn't been able to sleep. But when Brooke's name popped up on the screen, her heart stopped for a second before hammering furiously. "Hey, Sophia, my dear, are you awake?" Brooke's voice was disgustingly cheerful, the exact opposite of the storm raging in Sophia's chest. "I'm awake, Brooke! Why are you calling?" "I was just worried Michael told me you weren't feeling well. Sorry I couldn't visit, things are crazy busy at the boutique." Sophia closed her eyes. Busy at the boutique. The image of Brooke hugging Michael at the hospital flashed in her mind. "I'm fine, Brooke. Thanks for caring." "Oh, good. By the way, guess what? A client gave me a massive bonus. Look, I sent a pic to your WhatsApp. It's gorgeous. I'm so lucky this month." Sophia opened the chat. A photo loaded. It was Brooke's delicate wrist wearing an elegant white gold bracelet encrusted with small diamonds. Sophia froze. She remembered seeing a brochure from a luxury jeweler in the pocket of Michael's suit jacket 6 months ago. Michael had claimed it was a gift for a client's wife. This affair wasn't just a mistake. It was a calculated betrayal that had been going on for a long time. "Isn't it beautiful? I feel like the most loved woman in the world," Brooke's voice chirped back over the line. "Yes, it's beautiful, Brooke. It suits you perfectly," Sophia whispered. "You deserve everything coming to you." After hanging up, Sophia felt her entire body go numb. As she walked near the kitchen for water, she heard hushed voices. "Keep your voice down. Sophia might hear you," Eleanor whispered. "Relax, Mom. She's in the bedroom. Probably exhausted from all her drama yesterday," Michael replied. "Brooke loved the bracelet. She said it makes her even more motivated to take care of our baby, as she should. Brooke is a capable woman. Not like your wife who just coasts by on her father's position. I told you a long time ago I preferred Brooke for you. If it wasn't for Richard Sterling, I'd never have let you marry Sophia." "I know, Mom. We're getting close to securing all the assets under both our names. Once Brooke gives birth, we'll have a strong excuse to slowly phase Sophia out. Even Mr. Sterling won't be able to do anything if we have proof that Sophia is an unfit wife." Sophia's world shattered all over again. Her mother-in-law was the director behind her suffering. But she didn't cry. Her eyes were completely dry, replaced by the cold fire of rage. She went back to her room and opened her burner phone. She forwarded the photo of the bracelet to Liam. Liam, please check Michael's corporate Amex expenses from November 12th of last year. I need the purchase receipt from this jewelry store. I know it's against protocol, but I promise your job is safe under my father's protection. She knew she was playing with fire, but she had no choice. She needed to prove her husband wasn't just a cheating scumbag, but a thief using her father's company money to fund his mistress. Suddenly, a loud knock rattled the door. Sophia, come out here. Make breakfast for your husband. Sophia hid the phone, took a deep breath, and strapped on the mask of an obedient wife. Before opening the door, she grabbed the key to the luxury apartment she had rented yesterday. Yes, Eleanor, I'll prepare it now. Michael needs to eat a lot to be strong for what he has to face today, Sophia said calmly. The nausea that hit her this morning wasn't from her pregnancy, but from the toxic venom of Michael and Eleanor's conversation. Knowing her husband wasn't just cheating, but actively conspiring with his mother to replace her, made every corner of the house suffocating. Sophia was standing in front of the bathroom mirror, pale, having just finished throwing up when the doorbell rang. It was her lawyer, Attorney Miller. When Eleanor opened the door, she tried to block her. Sophia is sick. If it's not important, don't bother her. Attorney Miller was unfazed. She pushed past her, and upon seeing Sophia, her face washed in shock. Sophia, what happened to you? You look like you haven't eaten in a week. Attorney Miller led Sophia into the bedroom and locked the door. There, Sophia spilled everything. Her lawyer seethed with anger. They're monsters, Attorney Miller said. They're using your kindness and your father's position, and now they want to throw you away. Listen to me, Sophia. Crying won't stop them. We need ammunition. I need physical evidence, photos, recordings, financial transactions. But isn't it illegal to record inside my own house? Sophia asked. This is about the safety of you and your unborn child. In family court, evidence of infidelity and abandonment is key, Attorney Miller explained. She handed Sophia a small recording device disguised as a teddy bear keychain. Put this where they usually talk. And one more thing. Stay weak and submissive in front of them. Let them get comfortable, because that's when they'll make mistakes. Sophia nodded, feeling a surge of new strength not to endure but to destroy. That afternoon, as Attorney Miller was leaving, Michael arrived. The lawyer faked a polite smile. Nice to meet you, Michael. Sophia speaks so highly of you. Once the lawyer left, Sophia went to the bathroom. Then she quickly and quietly slipped the teddy bear recorder under a side table in the living room, the exact spot where Michael and Eleanor usually plotted at night. As she adjusted it, she whispered to herself, "Go ahead, talk as much as you want. I'll be listening." She walked back out to the living room, flashing a small fake smile at Michael. Meanwhile, in the pocket of her maternity dress, she waited for the text from Liam that would confirm her husband's illegal financial transactions. Every tick of the grandfather clock in the living room felt like a hammer against Sophia's skull. After placing the recorder, sleeping became an exhausting vigil. But the tension reached its breaking point the next day. The front door swung open loudly, even though Michael was supposed to be at the office. Eleanor walked in looking absolutely thrilled, and on her arm was Brooke dressed in an expensive maternity dress. "Come in, dear, don't be shy. This is going to be your home too," Eleanor announced. Sophia stood up. "What is the meaning of this?" "Oh, hi, Sophia," Brooke said, taking off her sunglasses. "Sorry for the surprise. Eleanor invited me over for some special snacks." "Don't call her Eleanor like your family," Sophia said coldly. Eleanor lunged forward. "Hey, watch your mouth. Sophia Brooke is a special guest. She's carrying my favorite grandchild. Her condition is far more delicate than yours, since all you do is complain. Go make her some juice and peel some apples." Sophia stood her ground. "I am not a maid, Eleanor. And Brooke is not a guest to be served in this house." "What did you say?" Eleanor's eyes widened in fury. "You are just a useless burden. Hurry up." Brooke feigned dizziness, holding her head. "It's okay, Eleanor. I'll just leave." "No, you stay right here," Eleanor yelled. "Just wait. Michael will be home any minute. He won't like how his lazy wife is treating you." Right on cue, Michael walked through the door. His surprise instantly melted into a warm smile when he saw Brooke. "What's going on here?" he asked, rushing over to Brooke and ignoring Sophia entirely. "Your wife, I asked her to make some juice for Brooke and she insulted her," Eleanor complained. Michael glared at Sophia, his eyes burning with anger. "What is wrong with you, Sophia? Brooke is our guest. She's pregnant. Why are you acting like this?" "She's your mistress, Michael, and you brought her into my home right in front of me," Sophia screamed, tears finally spilling over. Suddenly, Brooke clutched her chest, panting. "Michael, my chest. I feel dizzy." Michael panicked and wrapped his arms around Brooke. "Stop acting, Brooke," Sophia yelled, disgusted by the theatrical display. "Enough," Michael roared. When Sophia stepped forward to confront them, Michael pushed her hard. Sophia flew backward. Her lower back slammed into the sharp edge of the marble coffee table before she crashed onto the floor. A blinding pain shot through her body. She groaned, clutching her stomach. Michael froze. A flicker of regret crossed his face, but Eleanor immediately pulled his arm. "Leave her. She's faking it. Look at Brooke, she's actually in pain. Take her to the guest room." Michael scooped Brooke into his arms and carried her into the guest room without giving Sophia a second glance. Before closing the door, Eleanor shot Sophia a triumphant smirk. Sophia was left on the floor. The pain in her heart turned to ice. Inside the guest room, her husband was tending to another woman, while she, his legal wife, was left crumpled on the floor. Martha ran in from the kitchen, her face pale with terror. She helped Sophia sit up. "Oh my God, ma'am, are you okay?" Sophia didn't answer. Her eyes were fixed on the side table where the recorder was hidden. She knew everything that just happened. Michael's shout, the physical shove. Eleanor's admission was all recorded. Once back in her room, Sophia grabbed her burner phone. Her hands were no longer shaking from fear, but from a controlled, lethal rage. She took a picture of a document she had swiped from Michael's briefcase the night before, a down payment receipt for a house under Brooke's name, with Michael as the guarantor. She took a deep breath and texted her father, Richard Sterling. "Dad, can you come to the house tomorrow at 10 a.m. without telling Michael I have something to show you? It's about your grandchild's future." Right after sending it, she deleted the message. She lay back on the bed. She knew inviting her father would destroy Michael. But she also knew that from today on, she had no home to return to unless she destroyed this cage first. The lingering pain in her lower back from Michael's push was the final reminder that her patience was gone. Laying in bed, she could hear Eleanor and Brooke laughing in the living room. Every memory of Michael begging her to budget and save money tightened her chest. She had believed it all. But a text message from Liam changed everything. "I sent the documents to your secret email. It's worse than we thought." Sophia opened her laptop. Her world completely collapsed. On the screen was a list of transactions from Michael's corporate Amex and reimbursement requests. Luxury dinners on dates he claimed he was working overtime and eating instant ramen. A charge for a designer bag, the exact bag Brooke was carrying yesterday. Rent payments for a luxury apartment. Brooke's address. Michael wasn't broke. He was stealing from Sophia's father's company to fund his mistress, all while forcing his pregnant wife to clip coupons for her delivery. Animal Sophia whispered. The tear that fell wasn't from sadness, but pure, unadulterated fury. Liam called, "Did you see it? Sophia, Michael is an idiot. He buried all of Brooke's expenses under the budget for a major development project. This is more than enough to press charges. Embezzlement and corporate fraud. He could go to federal prison." Sophia went quiet. Destroying Michael meant dragging her father's company name into a scandal. But letting him get away with it was a worse disgrace. "I know what I have to do, Liam. Send a physical copy of the dossier to the apartment address I texted you." After the call, Sophia stood up and touched her belly. "Forgive me, baby. Mama has to destroy your father so you can have an honest future." Eleanor barged into the room without knocking. "Hey, lazy," Michael just called. "He's not coming home tonight. He has an emergency out-of-town meeting. Don't bother him. Here, iron this laundry." In the pile of clothes, Sophia spotted a silk scarf. It wasn't hers. It smelled like Brooke's perfume. Investor meeting. A disgusting lie. She ignored the laundry. She walked to her closet and grabbed a key to an emergency safety deposit box at her father's office. She quietly walked down to Michael's home office, a room she was forbidden to enter. It was locked. She felt the top of their wedding portrait hanging on the wall and found the spare key. Once inside, she started rummaging. She wasn't looking for cash. She was looking for corporate stamps and personal checkbooks. At the bottom of a drawer, she found a sealed brown envelope labeled Confidential Asset Ownership. She ripped it open. Inside was the deed to a luxury beach house in the Hamptons bought just last month. It was under both Brooke and Michael's names. It was a systematic transfer of her family's wealth. Suddenly, she heard footsteps. Fast and heavy. "Michael. He came home early." Sophia froze. She shoved the envelope under her maternity dress against her belly and stood behind the desk just as the door swung open. The tension in the office was suffocating. Michael stood in the doorway, his eyes scanning the room, locking onto Sophia. The brown envelope felt like it was burning against her skin. "What are you doing in here, Sophia? I told you never to come in here without my permission," Michael said, his voice low and threatening. "I was looking for the baby's medical book, honey. I think I left it in here." "I need the vaccination schedule," Sophia lied smoothly. Michael stepped closer, his eyes fixed on her face. "Looking for a medical book in a locked desk drawer? Do you think I'm stupid?" Just as Michael reached out to grab her, a blinding pain pierced Sophia's abdomen. This wasn't an ordinary cramp. It was a hot, paralyzing agony. "Ah, Michael, it hurts," Sophia gasped. "More drama," Michael scoffed. Just trying to change the subject, Sophia couldn't reply. She collapsed to the hardwood floor, her hands trembling, and then she felt a warm, wet sensation. On the white oak floorboards, a bright drop of crimson blood appeared, followed by another. "Michael, I'm bleeding," she stammered, terrified. Michael froze. A flash of genuine panic crossed his face, but a voice from the hallway shattered any remaining conscience he had. "Michael, hurry up! Brooke is waiting in the car." Eleanor appeared dressed to the nines. She looked down at Sophia in disgust. "What is it now? It's probably just spotting. Stop being so dramatic, Sophia." "She's bleeding, Mom," Michael said, hesitating. "It's just an excuse to make you miss Brooke's pregnancy celebration," Eleanor yelled, pulling her son's arm. "This celebration is for my real grandchild, not the one constantly causing headaches. Martha's here. She'll deal with it." Michael looked back at Sophia. On one hand, his bleeding wife. On the other, his ambition, his mother and the woman he truly desired. "Michael, please take me to Dr. Evans," Sophia begged. "Call an Uber. I can't cancel this. This is about respecting Brooke and her family," Michael said coldly before turning his back and following his mother out. The sound of their fading footsteps was the most agonizing noise Sophia had ever heard. She had been abandoned. In the hospital, Sophia lay attached to an IV, fighting to save her baby. Dr. Evans' warning was grim. "Sophia, this is your body's final warning. One more severe emotional shock, and I cannot guarantee the baby's survival." "Where is your husband?" Sophia just shook her head, tears streaming. "He's busy, Doc." On the TV, in her VIP suite, a local society gossip page popped up on Instagram. Michael, Eleanor, and Brooke, laughing happily at a five-star restaurant, standing in front of a banner that read "Gender Reveal and Thanksgiving for Brooke's Pregnancy." Sophia's heart shattered into a million pieces. While she was fighting for their child's life, her husband was celebrating another woman's pregnancy funded by money stolen from her father's company. Sophia picked up her phone. She dialed her father's direct line. The moment she heard Richard Sterling's voice, her defenses crumbled. "Hello, Sophia, sweetheart. Why are you calling Dad?" Sophia broke down, sobbing. "Dad, please help me." "What happened? Where are you?" her father asked, his voice instantly laced with alarm. "I'm at the hospital, Dad. I started bleeding. And Michael. He left me on the floor to go celebrate another woman's pregnancy." Richard Sterling fell dead silent, but Sophia could hear his heavy, ragged breathing. "They're having an affair, Dad. He's using the company's money to buy Brooke a house in the Hamptons and diamond jewelry. I have all the evidence. I have recordings." A long, terrifying silence followed. "Wait right there, sweetheart. And remember this, from this exact second forward, you do not refer to that man as your husband. He is dead to this family." After the call, a massive weight lifted off Sophia's shoulders. But she knew the real hurricane was just beginning. She pulled the brown envelope from her bag and texted Attorney Miller. "Attorney, execute Plan B. I don't just want a divorce. I want him left with absolutely nothing. He shouldn't even be able to afford the clothes on his back." Sophia closed her eyes. She would let the lingering pain in her stomach serve as a reminder that, starting tomorrow, the sweet, accommodating Sophia was gone. She was the storm that would level Michael's world. The steady beep of the heart monitor in the VIP hospital room seemed to count down Sophia's remaining patience. The door swung open, and Mr. Sterling walked in his face, a mask of absolute terrifying rage. Seeing his daughter lying there pale and hooked up to machines, his shoulders shook. "Sophia." Mr. Sterling's voice trembled. "I'm so sorry, Dad. I've been hiding the truth from you for so long," Sophia whispered. "Don't you apologize, sweetheart. I'm the one who should apologize. I didn't realize the snake I promoted in my own company was a wolf feeding on my own daughter." Sophia handed him the brown envelope. "It's all here, Dad. Not just the affair with Brooke, but all the proof of how he used the company to fund her. He stole from you through me." Mr. Sterling opened the envelope. As he read each page, his face turned crimson. Attorney Miller walked in, followed by Liam. "Mr. Sterling, the draft is ready," Attorney Miller said. "Based on the evidence, this isn't just a divorce. This is an airtight case for embezzlement and corporate fraud." Mr. Sterling stood up, no longer just a father, but a ruthless CEO, ready to annihilate his enemy. "File the petition immediately, Attorney. I don't want a single asset left in Michael's name. Make sure he walks out of this marriage with nothing but the shirt on his back." He turned to Liam. "Go back to the office. I'm giving you full administrative access. Prepare a comprehensive audit of every single cent Michael spent over the last 2 years. I want every stolen penny to be a bullet that destroys his career permanently. Yes, sir? I've already locked him out of the servers, so he can't delete his digital footprint, Liam replied. Sophia listened, feeling a mix of relief and bitterness. She was watching the planned demolition of the man she once loved, but when she remembered the pain of him leaving her bleeding for Brooke, any ounce of pity vanished. Dad, Sophia called out, what about Eleanor? I want her to feel the consequences of the blessings she gave them. Everything they enjoy belongs to the company. When you fire Michael, they lose the house. After the lawyer and Liam left silence, returned to the room. Mr. Sterling sat beside Sophia. Get some sleep, sweetheart. Tomorrow is the beginning of the end for them. But Sophia couldn't sleep. She checked her phone. A text from Michael. Just finished the meeting. Exhausted. Go to sleep, S. I might not make it home until tomorrow. Sophia smiled, a venomous smile. She typed a quick reply. Okay, honey. Get some rest. I'm calm now. I've handed all my problems over to the right person. She hit send. It was bait to keep Michael comfortable in his delusion, until the termination letter and the divorce papers hit him like a freight train. She turned off her phone, letting the night cover the unstoppable plan she had set in motion. The next morning, Sophia felt like she was watching a movie she had directed herself. There was a bitter taste to her victory. She stared at her left hand, now bare of her wedding ring. In her mind, she pictured Michael's reaction at Sterling Enterprises headquarters. Michael strutted into the office, arrogant as ever, wearing an expensive bespoke suit bought with embezzled funds. To him, Sophia's complaints were just a minor annoyance. But when he reached the executive floor, the atmosphere was dead. Mr. Michael, you're requested in the main conference room. Mr. Sterling is waiting, a secretary said coldly. When he walked in, Mr. Sterling, Liam, attorney, Miller, and the entire board of directors were waiting. Dad, what's going on? Michael asked. Mr. Sterling didn't answer. Liam stood up. Based on an internal audit, we've uncovered evidence of corporate embezzlement totaling over $200,000 transferred into accounts under Brooke's name for real estate and luxury goods. Michael went pale. What? That's a lie. Dad don't believe him. Enough, Mr. Sterling roared. Do not call me Dad in this room. You are a thief. Mr. Sterling threw the dossier of evidence right at Michael's chest. Effective immediately, you are terminated from all positions at this firm. And that company-issued BMW you drive, the company-leased house you and your mother live in, they are company assets. Since you no longer work here, they are being seized. Security is already at the house, changing the locks. Michael's world collapsed. Dad, please not the house, my mom is there. Your mother was given 30 minutes to pack a bag before the property was sealed. Hand over your corporate ID and your keys. Now, humiliated, Michael surrendered everything. He walked out of that conference room not as a director, but as a defeated, broken man. At the hospital, Sophia heard the play-by-play from her father. She felt a new kind of anxiety. A desperate Michael was a dangerous Michael. She decided to face the storm head-on. Nurse call doctor. Evans. Tell him I feel stronger and I'm signing a waiver to be discharged, Sophia said. She knew it was risky, but she needed to make sure nothing happened to her late mother's heirlooms at the house. She was stepping back into the war zone. Weeks passed. The rain outside the hospital window had finally stopped, leaving the smell of wet asphalt, a symbol of cleansing for Sophia. After a season of lies, she felt like she had shed her old skin, replaced by a sharp, untouchable resilience. Sophia sat in a wheelchair assisted by Martha, the only loyal person left from her past. Mr. Sterling was waiting in the lobby to take her home to her childhood estate. But at the end of the corridor, Michael and Eleanor appeared. Michael looked miserable. His clothes were wrinkled and unwashed. Eleanor was wearing a faded, cheap dress, clutching a plastic grocery bag. Michael fell to his knees in front of Sophia's wheelchair. Sophia! Please! His voice cracked. I lost everything. When Brooke found out I was fired and broke, she terminated the pregnancy, took all the jewelry and left me. I have no house. No job. Please, drop the lawsuit. I'll be your servant for the rest of my life. Just give me a place to live. Eleanor stepped forward, crying, Sophia, please forgive us. I'm an old woman. I can't survive in a cramped studio apartment. Sophia stared at them. There was no pity in her eyes, only absolute disgust. She nudged Michael's hands off her feet. Sophia's voice was clear and emotionless. I've already forgiven you for my own peace of mind. But don't ever mistake that for me taking you back. You say you're broken because you lost your job and your house. To me, you were broken the day at the hospital, when you held Brooke and let your mother insult me. The moment you pushed me and left me bleeding on the floor to go to a party, My respect for you died that day. And when respect dies, no amount of love can bring it back. She looked at Eleanor. And as for you, Eleanor, you were right about one thing. My dad didn't raise me to be vengeful, but he did teach me to know exactly when to stop giving my heart to heartless people. You two deserve each other. Enjoy the life you built. You can just sit there and watch us suffer, Eleanor shrieked. Sophia didn't reply. She signaled Martha to push the wheelchair. They rolled right past them. She could hear Michael sobbing on the floor as hospital staff and patients stared at a man who had lost everything to his own greed. A month later, Sophia stood on the balcony of her father's estate. She was much stronger now, and the baby kicking in her womb gave her a renewed sense of purpose. Mr. Sterling walked out to join her. Attorney Miller called. The judge finalized the divorce. All assets have been legally returned to you, her father said. Thanks, Dad. What about them? They're renting a tiny room on the outskirts of the city. Michael is working the loading docks at a distribution warehouse. Eleanor is constantly getting into screaming matches with the neighbors. Sophia remained quiet. Her mind was already moving forward. Dad, I want to transfer all the recovered assets from the settlement into a foundation for single mothers. She didn't want a single dime associated with Michael. And one more thing. I'm changing the baby's last name on the paperwork. The baby will be a Sterling. Mr. Sterling paused. It was a massive decision that would permanently erase Michael from the child's life. Are you sure, sweetheart? Sophia rubbed her belly. A mysterious, powerful smile graced her lips. Let him try to fight me for it. Her father is a man who never truly existed. I will make sure my child never even knows the name of the man who almost killed her before she was even born. Sophia took the pen from her father and signed the documents. It was her final step in closing the door on the past forever. As the sun set, Sophia stared out at the horizon. She was no longer a betrayed wife. She was Sophia Sterling, a mother ready to scorch the earth to protect her world. Michael's cries were now nothing but wind, unable to ever reach her heart again. She walked back inside, leaving the shadows behind, ready to welcome a dawn that finally entirely belonged to her. From Sophia's story, we learn that endless loyalty to the wrong person is simply a fast track to your own destruction. Never be afraid to let go of the dead weight dragging you down. Ending a toxic relationship is not a failure. It is the first, most crucial step to saving your dignity and protecting your future. May Sophia's courage inspire us all to fiercely guard our own worth. Thank you for joining us on this emotional journey.